This is who Troy Aikman is actually married to in real life. Who is Troy Aikman? A person who was a football fan 2 decades ago would have a very good clue. He was a famous quarterback and had an active career that spanned a little over a decade and a half. On top of this, he's still a celebrity who loves to talk about football. Since he's an expert, people would care about his opinion, looking at younger players and current events in the sport. Career background of a long-standing player. Troy Aikman is famous for football and for attending more than one Super Bowl. He also had a particularly long career, and so his familiarity made him a subject of nostalgia long before his running and kicking days were through. As a quarterback, he was a team leader and so made important calls and plays and was a clear center of attention. Since football is played in front of a large crowd and tends to be emotionally charged, a quarterback gets a lot of attention from fans. The fact he was successful for so long gives newcomers to the sport some scope as to why he would be famous and beloved. As quarterbacks can be criticized intensely, the job is very stressful. The fact he lasted so long is a testament to his talent and also his willingness to stick with the sport through thick and thin. His endurance also accounts for his skill, since some quarterbacks might quit to avoid further mistakes and criticisms. Troy Aikman worked for all 3 leagues, and his success obviously comes from this breadth of experience. Of course, he attended high school and was quite talented at both football and baseball. During his college years, he first attended the University of Oklahoma and played college football. He was actually offered terms for playing for the New York Mets, but he chose to focus his career on football instead. At Oklahoma, Aikman was actually started as quarterback in his freshman year because of his excellent performance. This was a distinction because quarterbacks are rarely freshmen, given the experience and acknowledgement required. As state teams have plenty of talent, they usually pick a more senior candidate. He ended his career early when he broke his ankle because of a very successful sack by Jerome Brown. His promised comeback is much referenced theme in the sport of football. Troy Aikman did not recover his position at Oklahoma because they'd chosen another quarterback. Instead, he chose to transfer to the University of California, Los Angeles in order to serve as their quarterback. His decision hinged on the availability of the role as opposed to the educational opportunities. But California was the more distinguished leg of his college football career. He actually had to sit out 1 year due to how the college handled transfers, but he was able to excel as a junior and senior. His total career there scored 20 wins over 4 lost games, and he won the Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year distinction in his junior year. The next year, he won the Davy O'Brien Award, which was a first distinction for the Los Angeles University. Aikman's UCLA football shirt is still displayed for his game against Stanford. After college football, he became a professional with the NFL and joined the Dallas Cowboys. This was the lengthiest and most distinguished leg of his career, and is the very reason why his foot injury during his freshman year at college was considered to be such a historic toss-up. He had a reason to retire from football but chose to recuperate and continue in spite of the risks of the sport. After an early shuffle, he was given the quarterback position for the Cowboys. Troy Aikman was always the type to surprise people with unexpected accomplishments. He was a typing champion in high school and set the rookie record for throwing for 379 yards in a game. This game was against the Cardinals, but that fact's beside the point that he was among the best before even entering into the professional league. His rookie season was 0-11, having completed 155 of 293 passes. He accomplished 9 touchdowns during the season. The Dallas Cowboys were a little less successful in 1990, in part of Aikman being injured again mid-season. Their team entered the season with 7 wins and 7 losses. Aikman was injured and retired for the season after 15 games. Having their team reshuffled and suffering from the shock of Aikman's injury, the Cowboys lost against the Arizona Falcons and, as the result, couldn't progress to the finals. Troy Aikman continued as a Dallas Cowboy until 2000, when he retired due to suffering multiple concussions in a single year. Always the achiever, he continued on as his passion was in the game. Since he was getting older by this time and had a total of 10 concussions throughout his career, it was a matter of medical necessity to remove him from professional play. His removal was a matter of controversy, pitting fans against ethics. In any case, he enjoyed a stellar career that spanned 2 decades. This is who Troy Aikman is actually married to in real life. Although he received a great deal of publicity as a quarterback and overall athlete, Troy Aikman did have spare time for a private life. And of course, someone so famous and accomplished would attract a great deal of attention to form no small social life. Although he didn't marry her, he dated the likes of country singer Lori Morgan and other women as well. He was once considered to be the most eligible bachelor in the country because of his fame and iconic success. Troy Aikman has actually had 2 wives, and it's possible that his first is the most memorable because she was a publicist for the Dallas Cowboys, and so he might have had a personal interest in her from early on. The fact that he married Rhonda Worthy in the last season of his career suggests the risky and emotional nature of his involvement in sports. In the end, his first marriage was dissolved 11 years later after he had 2 daughters with his first wife. His first marriage would have been the higher profile of the two because of the amount of publicity he received at the time because of his injuries and the fact that he was an active player. His relationship remained a subject of public interest because his celebrity status was still fresh. When he married his second wife in 2017, his football days had been over for 16 years, and so his attention from the press was significantly less. He got married to a retailer and Instagram star, Catherine Moody, on September 1, 2017, after a year of engagement. The fact was not entirely lost to the public just because Troy Aikman remained relevant to sports throughout his work as a commentator and cameo celebrity. In any case, this was his present wife, and they've not yet divorced. Since they're raising 4 kids between them and are a mixed family, similar to the Brady Bunch, they have a lot of work on their hands in spite of their individual careers. Even as a lower-tiered celebrity, Aikman continues to be an active achiever and actually hosts several shows to either discuss his opinion and sell products. He's been a commentator for the Fox network since 2001 and has his own radio show to explain his views and his personal color. He's even hosted a show with Hulk Hogan to sell Rent-A-Center among his many business interests. Catherine is an active mother and is also an ongoing entrepreneur. She was originally married to a lawyer but has since then left the marriage with her 2 children. The split was apparently over arguments about how to proceed with their life and possibly just years of personally grinding against each other. Catherine owns a boutique in Texas and also promotes herself and her fashion through social media channels. Her experience with a law firm means she's smart about business matters. A fair number of people know that Troy Aikman is married to Catherine, although the fact is obscured by their lower spotlight in the media, as well as the fact that their wedding was not publicly broadcast. They decided to get married on a beach and held a private ceremony. Their relationship continues to be private, and since they have 4 kids between them, they would have an excellent reason to shelter children from excessive attention. There's little scandal involved in their relationship, and so there would be no reason for tabloids and other media to pay much attention to their private lives. They're a clean couple and focus primarily on business and family life. Catherine, for her part, is estimated to be worth about $1 million by herself, and is estimated to earn at least $200,000 a year from her different business ventures. Troy Aikman is still the top earner of the family and rakes in at least $1 million a year from being a Fox commentator. His other business ventures might make him more money, but he's not known to spend this money publicly or very lavishly. Since he does not seek publicity beyond his role as an observer and personality of the sports world, he doesn't always receive extra attention besides this. The fact might change if he decided to start up a new business as a principal investor, in which case his name and money spent on fanfare might bring him sharply into the public image again. As Catherine is not involved in the same business as her husband, she's not frequently seen unless the two are together for an event. Their marriage is a bit more obscure than it ought to be, just because her support of an icon is largely in the shadows, and they definitely do things like plan meals and family outings together. Why fame is not the largest concern. On occasion, Troy Aikman lets the whole world know he still loves his wife and family. On his 2nd anniversary of his marriage, he posted to social media that he loves his wife and all their children. He publicly declared her to be the love of his life. This in spite of her not being the bearer of any of his children and also having 2 children of her own. They didn't marry young, and so raw carnal appeal was not the origin. Instead, they love each other for their character. This is usually how it is with mature couples. Many people have chaotic youthful years because they're inexperienced both as workers and as friends and as spouses. A man might be attracted to a woman, and this attraction is enough to sustain a decade or more of their relationship. As life grinds on and people develop distinct tastes and personalities, 2 people who were once familiar might discover they've become distant because of their own personal evolution. Troy Aikman and Kappa Moody met as more mature individuals, and so they both had quite a bit of time to consider themselves, as well as iron out the wrinkles in their own individual external cloth. Having experienced life and knew finally what they did and didn't want in a partner, they were both attracted to each other based on personal qualities, as well as fame and success. Aikman is obviously iconically famous. He's also a good dad, since he kept his kids and seems to love his daughters very much. Catherine has sons, but remains attractive and popular to this very day. She presents herself tastefully on social media, and so is likely to attract attention from a lot of people. Since both small customers and big ones are able to see her at her best, she eventually caught the eye of a heroic celebrity.